Budgeting, which is defined as a financial statement prepared and approved prior to a defined period for the purpose of attaining a given objective. It is the most comprehensive financial tool that is widely used in an organization. Hello and welcome. I'm Stephen Ipalobo Lawson and this is Business Matters, where business truly matters.
Business matters. Let's talk business. Business matters.
It is a critical element in an organization's forecasting. Let us take up our business update.
Business matters.
Hey, beautiful, your eyes, your smile are all begging me to take you home tonight. Now reading page 3.
Experience unlimited super-fast internet access from Entel 4G.
Entel. Live more.
Business matters.
Nigeria's tax system is taxed with the responsibility of providing the government with enough resources to finance the country's economic growth and development. Tax systems in Nigeria seems to have a very poor tax effort, which reduces fiscal target in the budgetary process. Welcome to our professionals segment.
Business matters.
Thank you for staying tuned on Business Matters. This segment, we're going to be exploring the topic budgeting and tax systems in Nigeria. And to help me do justice to this topic is no other individual, a professional who, as a matter of fact, is the fellow of the Chartered Institute of Accountants, as I cannot believe. Is also a professional who has over 16 years experience in management and has his own roots in one of the 4 big consultancy firms in the country. He is the MD and CEO of PML Advisory Limited. Help me as I make welcome Mr. Abiola Fajimi. How are you, sir?
Fine, thank you.
It's always great to have you, back on the show. It's amazing. But as a fellow of ICANN, how does it feel?
Well, it feels great, and it shows that you've contributed significantly to the profession, to the accounting practices in Nigeria, and as part of the recognition, you are conferred with the fellowship of the Institute.
That's great.
And that's the hallmark of the profession.
It is the hallmark indeed. We're talking about hallmark. I know accountants and financial consultants themselves are very concerned about generating revenue for organizations. And if we take that to the public sphere, we're also looking where government has a role in terms of generating revenue with which they can actually fuel the budget, as the case is. Nigeria had a budget 2019 of about 8 trillion, if I remember that right. And this year, the president, as a matter of fact, tabled before the joint section of the National Assembly, and then we have a budget for 2020 seems to be some kind of increment to about 10 trillion, as the case is. What is your reaction to that?
Well, Mr. President has presented the budget, and he has presented an increased budget. On the surface of it, your first reaction will be, last year, we could not achieve our budget performance. Now we've now increased the budget. What will happen to the budget? But if you sit back and critically review the budget, you will find out that, yes, reasonably, some of the assumptions seems like it can actually work. One of the primary focal point of the budget is the fact that government has now increased the expected contribution of the non-oil revenue sector of the budget. And they are hoping that they will be able to grow the revenue from taxes. And as a matter of fact, among the various income aid, you find out that where you have this major growth increase year on year is in tax revenue, which is expected to generate an increased revenue of 28% compared to what we did in 2019. And we've seen some things that's happened. The VAT rate has been increased to 7.5.
Yeah, from 5%.
From 5%, so that they can generate more revenue. And I think government is also conscious of the fact that we want the SMEs to develop. So they've also created a kind of window from SMEs by saying if your turnover is less than 25 million, we have a waiver of not filing for VAT, not remitting VAT. So small businesses will not get impacted immediately. Yes, there are still some gray areas that requires clarification, but at least looking at it on the surface of it, it looks like it can work. We should be able to achieve it. From a non-oil revenue perspective, we should be able to deliver the expected revenue if all the necessary machineries are put in place and the government gets it right.
I mean, are we going to be looking at agriculture as one of the major savers in terms of the revenue generation, aside from taxes?
So, well, there's no direct line to say agriculture, but you expect that there will be more contribution from agricultural businesses in terms of taxes and revenue to the nation. Because with the closure of the border now, you also expect that there will be development for some indigenous businesses, indigenous sectors, like agriculture should be one of the direct beneficiaries of the closure of the border. Sure. Rice, you can no longer smuggle rice into the country. True. So we expect that the rice industry will develop significantly, and that's major because that's one of the very high sector where we put a lot of our forex.
That's true.
We've spent a lot of forex importing rice into Nigeria. So with the closure, and you find out that a lot of people are investing into the rice already. We now see a lot of rice mill.
As a matter of fact, we should be able to feed ourselves. What's the point of having such arable expanse of land and then we're still importing? Because that itself affects, in terms of balance of trade, we have more of imports than exports. And if we're able to ensure that our agricultural sector thrives beyond what it is today, apparently that is going to definitely shift to the positive or have an impact also in terms of the value of the naira. Of course, and of course, in terms of our foreign exchange, that itself will make sense.
We expect that we'll have a significant savings from the banning of rice importation. Yes, Nigeria will go through some level of hardship in the immediate. In the short run, it's going to be painful. But in the long run, we will be better. Because we've seen that. We've even seen some small players. I know of some players in this space. They don't do a lot of money. They now do rice business, 150 million naira turnover. And all they do is they buy paddy rice from the local farmers and they process it. Not high-end processed rice, medium-sized, no stone kind of processed rice, package it, and they are selling it. They are not big companies. They are just small, medium-sized businesses. But they are doing it. They are buying rice from farmers. They go to commercial rice milling factories. They mill it for them. They package it in their own name, and they are selling it. They are making money. So that is going to help the economy to grow. We will expect that taxes will come from that aspect. True. We will expect that some of these industries that now you can no longer import the items or you need to import it directly through Nigeria, government will have more revenue from that. And even as a matter of one important point is that from the budget, you expect that the custom revenue will double. They are the only one that have about 100% expected growth in the revenue because with the closure of border, all the items needs to come through Nigeria port, and they will be able to earn more revenue. Because one of the primary focus, and which I would expect the government to do, is to bring more people into the tax net.
That, as a matter of fact, Abiola, has been an argument over time that what's the essence of, you have the company income taxes as one angle of it all. You have all kinds of duties and excises that comes from here and there. You have also all kinds of fees that people actually have to pay in terms of getting whatever it is. You have all of this whole gamut of sources of revenue. Why not make a case for an increment in VAT or whatever case that might be, especially in a country where you know that the rate of poverty is quite high? Why are we not making a case in terms of expanding the tax net so that more people are taxable? And Nigerians, of course, we argue also with you that they pay taxes to local government and the rest of that. So it's not a question of whether the taxes are not being paid. It's whether those taxes are remitted to the government coffers.
Well, even when we claim we pay taxes, let's be honest with ourselves. What percentage of Nigerians are under the tax net? Compared to global standard, the number is relatively low. You will be shocked that if they did a survey and found out that less than 20 Nigerians pay 20 million naira in personal income tax in 1 year, which means that less than 20 Nigerians are claiming that they make more than 200 million naira as income. And if you do a lifetime audit, how many Nigerians do you think, by the way they move around, the kind of asset, the kind of properties, a private jet they fly, the kind of cars they drive, make more than 200 million annually? They're a lot. So there is a gap somewhere. So beyond even people being under the tax net, the adequacy of the information they are disclosing and the accuracy is another issue. But coming back to the VAT rate, government is increasing VAT. But to support the small businesses, they have also come up with other palliative. If your turnover is less than 25 million, don't worry about VAT. You're a small business, so you are free. If you are into food business, don't worry about VAT. If you are into agriculture, don't worry about VAT. So the essential things that you need to survive, they are waiving tax on it, which is very good.
Is it the waiver of taxes, or you still maintain the 5% tax which has been in session all this while, or is total exemption?
It's total exemption for those categories of items. Agriculture, food, medicine, they are exempting them from tax. So they are not paying VAT, but they will still pay other
taxes and other taxes. Okay.
So for businesses, my advice to businesses is this: tax planning should be part of the life of any business.
Well, but some businesses will feel that, why should I have to pay taxes when, to a large extent, I don't see the impact of my tax contribution to the government coffers? And you think they are not justified?
Well, paying tax is a civil responsibility of any citizen of a nation. You have to pay taxes. What we should ask our leaders is, what do they do with the taxes we pay? We cannot say we will not pay taxes. We can only say, what do you do with our taxes? Because if you don't pay taxes, we will never develop. There are some things we cannot do, no matter how rich we are as individuals. We cannot achieve them.
Yeah, but where does the money, for example, the money that LASA will come knocking on your business door for, the money that to someone, I even hear that there is radio and television tax in certain local government area. Please, you have to help me understand what that exactly means, and then you have other kinds of taxes or fines or whatever it is. So most small businesses are even trying to survive in terms of powering their operations, and then the government comes with all of these multiple manifold kinds of taxes. How do you think they will survive? So why would they not find ways to tax evade rather than tax compliant?
Well, that's one of the things that government also really needs to look at, because the cost of administration of all these taxes and levies is a lot to businesses. The kind of resources you even need to be able to meet up the reporting is a lot to businesses. It costs them a fortune beyond the actual amount they pay. And it's time Nigerian government consolidate all these taxes. True. Do one single point of collection and go and distribute it within the various agencies. The whole thing boils down on distrust. Because I don't trust you. If you collect my levy on my behalf, you pay me the accurate amount. So I want to collect my thing myself. It is time they consolidate that old taxes and levies into one or two single collections, and then the government distribute it with all the various parastatals. For the private businesses, what we need to do is to prepare ourselves for this exercise. And what does that entail? One, keep a proper record of what you are doing. Mm-hmm. Because you find out that a lot of people do not even maintain record. So when the tax authority comes, they will be running etasketa. And whatever they can put together is what they will give the tax authority. And the tax authority has power to give you best of judgments.
What does that mean?
Best of judgment means everything is at their discretion, they think it should be. But so when you cannot prove what you think your tax should be appropriately, then they will give you the best of judgment. And so you'll be at tax authorities' nemesis. But if you've kept your own proper record that shows what you have done, how much income you've made, then you can have a more technical and discuss from point of strength rather than making them. That is one. Two, they need to restructure their transactions in a tax-efficient way. Because depending on what you have in contract, depending on how your contract has been structured, that determines a lot of things. For example, let's say I sell goods. If I position myself as principal, or I position myself as an agent, like I'm a distributor. If I position myself as an agent, the tax implication will be different if I position myself as a principal. Even compensation to employees. how do you structure your staff compensation can go a long way in affecting the kind of taxes you need to pay.
Okay,
on them.
I'm going to pause you for a moment. We're going to be going on a break. As soon as we're back, we're going to have this discussions continued. Our viewers, thank you very much. We're going to go on a break. As soon as we're back, our Business Matters continues.
Experience unlimited super-fast internet access from Entel 4G.
Entel. Live more.
Thank you. If you're just joining us, this is Business Matters, and we are exploring the topic budgeting and tax system in Nigeria. And joining me in the studio is no other person than the MD CEO of PML Advisory Limited, the person of Mr. Abiola Fajimi. Before we went on a break, you were coming up with a thought that it's all about tax planning. It has nothing illegal attached to it. It has no kinds of invasive element to it. And a lot of businesses will be very interested to make sure that it's not because they don't want to pay, but they don't want to pay beyond what is needed. So I would like you to continue your thought.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So I was talking about tax planning, and I was even giving an example of principal and agency relationship.
And you've mentioned, of course, in terms of constructing the salary scales or the salary system for your employees as it is. That could also help you one way or the other to save taxes, so to speak.
Yes. So if you look at your employees, you can look at their compensation and look at how you've structured it. Have you structured in a tax efficient manner? There are ways that you structure payroll and it becomes tax efficient because there's deductibles, there are benefits. I'll give you an example. For example, if your staff decided to do extra pension contribution, that is not taxable.
Okay.
And
what do you mean extra?
So
That's
the
different
statutory from
okay.
the statutory pension contribution they are to do.
Okay.
You can contribute extra beyond that, and the pension fund administrator would note it as an extra contribution that you can withdraw after 5 years. So instead of you possibly go and take the money, invest it yourself, you can give it to your pension fund administrator as extra pension contribution to invest on your behalf. And after 5 years, you can withdraw it and nobody will tax you anything extra. That way, you have managed your potential personal income tax. You can take up annuity-based life insurance. All those investment-linked life products. When you invest your money in it from your salary, it earns return. It's an investment on its own. But such deduction, such investment is tax deductible. So you also don't pay taxes on it. Those are basic tax planning. Beyond even just structuring the payroll that organizations can take advantage of. It is legal. It's tax planning, not tax evasion.
But in terms of a company that is also rolling out corporate social responsibility projects and initiatives.
Yes.
For example, an organization can decide that it's sponsoring Business Matters. Does that also attract tax deductible benefits? Okay,
so if you are incurring expenses, you need to evaluate, will it be allowed for tax purposes? There's certain principle that guides that. Is it only incurred for the business? Is it necessary? And is it solely for the purpose of that business? Like if you are sponsoring business money, you are sponsoring it as a form of advertisement or form of promotional work, and that will be allowed for tax purposes because it's to promote the business so that hopefully you can generate revenue. But if you are making some CSR work, you have to be careful because some CSR work may or may not qualify. By rule, there are some registered organizations, for example, that you can donate money to, and to be allowed as tax deductible.
Okay, that's true.
If you give it to some kind of other organizations, the tax authority may not agree. So we evaluate that as part of the decision-making process. There are things that businesses need to evaluate, and that's where tax planning comes in.
That's true.
That's where
professionals like us. Yes, you'll be amazed that a lot of the fact that one never imagines or see how all of this comes out to play and the benefits to that. Because right now, as you were just speaking, I'm like, okay, this is amazing. There are so many ways, not necessarily loopholes, but very very true ways you actually can make a whole lot of savings, which you can also use for extended investment, and that in one way or the other impacts positively on your bottom line as a company. So in your own opinion, as a way perhaps of us wrapping up this session, you will obviously recommend to small and medium scale businesses to take advantage of this new government window and make sure they get their tax planning right.
Absolutely. Small businesses should plan. Don't wait for tax authority to come knocking before you comply, but plan yourself, your tax planning, do it properly from the beginning, ab initio, so that at the end of the day, we are fine and we'll take proper advantage of the provisions of the taxes, of the tax law. Whatever documentations we need to put it together from the word go.
Okay.
That way, when the tax authority comes,
Then we have nothing.
then you have no problem. And we should always remember, paying tax is our civil responsibility. We must pay taxes, but we must also plan for it.
All right. Thank you so very much, Mr. Abiola. This has been an amazing stuff. I know you pay tax, and I pay my taxes too, and we make
Excellent.
a case. And you've rightly said that, you see, your responsibility is to ask the government, what do you do with those taxes?
Absolutely.
But not to say that, hey, I'm not going to pay taxes.
Absolutely.
Thank you so very much. Anyway, viewers, you've heard it all on Business Matters. Make sure you pay your taxes. It's only advisable. And make sure you have all of your system properly in place, ab initio. And one thing you must always do is ask the government, I paid my taxes. What do you do with them? On that note, Business Matters continues. Please stay tuned with us.
Business matter. Business matter. Let's talk business. Business matter.
The rise in non-compliance of tax payment system has a negative influence on the budget in Nigeria. That wraps up this week's edition of Business Matters. Reach out to us on all our various social media platforms. Till I come your way next week, I am Stephen Ipalobo Lawson. Thanks for watching.